Let's go to page 774. This is lesson 16-3. The objective of this lesson is to find the product of two matrices. When you multiply matrices, you have to check if they can be multiplied. So there's a theorem right over here. They're talking about the product of the matrices. So you have matrix A, m times n, and matrix B, n times p. And so over here talk about you can check, see if you can multiply or not. Okay. So sometimes not as clear, but if we go to one example, then you can see. Okay. Okay, so let's go to example 1. So you have the matrix 3, 1, 0, negative 1, 4, 2, and you're going to multiply by negative 1, 2, 5, 0, 3, 0. Okay, so this matrix is 2 rows by 3 columns. Okay, this matrix is 3 rows by 2 columns. So first you have to do is you have to check these two numbers have to match in order to multiply. Okay, so these have to match. If these two numbers are different, then you cannot multiply. Then the multiplication will be undefined. Okay, so the two numbers have to match to multiply. If they match, means you can go ahead and multiply, and then your result, it gives you the result. So your answer will be end up with 2 by 2. So when you have 2 by 3 times 3 by 2, you're going to end up with a 2 by 2 matrix as your answer. Okay, so again, the inside number tells you if you can multiply or not. The outside number tells you that after you multiply, the dimension of your matrix will be. Okay, so that's what the theorem is talking about. Okay, so now let's go and multiply this together. Okay, so let's get rid of this number. So let's go to example 1 again. Okay, so from what we just talked about, that we know that you can you can multiply this, right? Okay, so that's how you're going to multiply the two matrices. So you're going to get your answer matrix right away. When you multiply, you always use the row on the first matrix and always use a column on the second matrix. Okay, so always use row times column. Okay, so you have to use these things like that. Okay, so only can use a row times a column. Okay, now the first row times first column, the answer will go to first row, first column. Now when you multiply, what you need to do, you have to use your finger. So the first number times the first number. Okay, so you have to do the first number times first number, second number times second number, third number times the third number. Okay, so when you multiply, so it be, and you want to write it down over here. So you got negative 3, right? 3 times negative 1 is negative 3, plus 2 plus 0. And so do it in your head. So this would be, so this is the first row, first column. So this will give you negative 1. Okay, and this goes to the first row, first column. Okay, so you can use the first row times first column. The answer you get is going to go to the first row, first column. Then you go to the next one, and notice where I'm going to put it. I'm going to put in the same location so you can match things. So I'm going to use the first row, second column. So when I multiply, I can write the things over here so you don't make careless mistakes. So 3 times 0 is 0. 1 times 3 is 3. And you have to add all these products together. 0 times 0 is 0. Okay? So again, so notice the first row, first column, first row, second column. So the 3 will go over here. Notice how I position these, right? So it helps me to remember where this number is going to go. So after I've done with the first row, I'm going to start the second row. Okay? Again, I'm going back over here. So I'm going to use it. So once I finish the first row, you start all over again, go to the next row. So my next row would be second row, first column. So second row, first column, right? So when I multiply, this would be 1 plus 8 plus 10, right? Again, first number times first number, second number times second number, third number times the third number. Okay, so row times column. And this will give me 19, okay? And again, notice where I put this, right? So this is the upper left-hand corner, so-called upper left-hand corner, upper right-hand corner, go to upper right-hand corner, lower left-hand corner, go to here, right? So you see how things matched? So it helps you to keep track of things, okay? So now I'm going to use a second row times second column. So this would be 0 plus 12 plus 0, right? First number times first number, okay? Second number times second number, third number times third number. Again, notice the position. This is the lower right-hand corner, so it goes over here, so it would be 12, okay? And that's the answer. That's how you multiply the matrix, okay? Okay, now also right below page 775, it kind of talking about a little bit of exponents. So a squared equal to a times a, and so forth. A to the 3 means a times a times a. Okay. And it also talk about the identity matrix. So a to the n means a times dot 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 times a, whatever that is. So exponent just like a regular math, okay? But you have to be careful how you multiply the inside, right? Okay, the next thing you talk about the identity matrix, the 2 by 2 identity matrix. Identity matrix for multiplication is 1, 1, 0, 0. So the main diagonal, your mean diagonal is going to be 1, and everything else is going to be 0. Okay? So I stand for identity matrix, just like 1. Okay? So for 3 by 3, so identity matrix is the diagonal is always equal to 1, and everything else would be 0. Okay? So again, the identity matrix. So diagonal is 1, everything else is 0. Okay? And everything times I will remain the same, just like when you multiply a number by 1, it will stay the same. Okay? Now on page 776, okay, that's an important thing you have to realize is that for matrices, most of the time, they are not commutable. In other words, A times B, most of the time is not equal to B times A, unless in some special, unusual situation, or like when you have zero matrix or you have identity matrix. But most of the time, A times B is not equal to B times A. Okay, so matrix A times matrix B, most of the time is not equal to matrix B times matrix A. So just be aware of that. Okay. Now here are some properties. So when you have multiple matrices, you can use associative property. So you can A times B first, then times C, or you can B times C first, then after your A times that. Now when you have matrix C multiplication, you have to be very careful. The order is very important. Do not switch the orders. Okay? So distributive property still apply, but notice there's no commutative property. Okay, because of that. Because most of the time, A times B is not equal to B times A. Okay, over here, identity property. Again, I matrix means identity matrix, just like 1. So 1 times A equal to A times 1 equal to A. 0 times A equal to A times 0 equal to 0. Okay? So these are the unusual situation that you can switch the order. You can do commutation. But most of the time, you cannot. So just be aware of that.